Good afternoon, guys, and happy Friday to all of your sunshiny faces, guys. I have been doing good still. I uploaded today, so I told you guys my goal has been editing and uploading and all that good stuff, and I ended up getting to that today. Like I said, I ended up uploading, I think I uploaded 6 vlogs, so I think I'm scheduled out through Monday. So I'm gonna hopefully edit more tomorrow. Maybe I can do another 4 vlogs tomorrow, then upload more again then on Sunday if I can, and then edit again on Monday. And I'm thinking like switching off every other day. If I can edit and upload in the same day, that would be awesome. The only problem is, guys, like the way the uploading is working right now, I'm using the new version of uploading, and I cannot, if there is a way, figure out how to upload more than one video at once. So it's been a little bit more time consuming, but at the same time it kind of hasn't been, only because I've actually been, I used to upload like the videos most of the time, like all at the same time. I used to upload like 8 or something like that all at once, and they normally like go decently fast, you know, between uploading and then processing and everything like that, and it wasn't too bad. And this was just when I get behind with the vlogs. And like I said, normally it's not too bad. And then my problem was always going and editing the thumbnail, because then I'd have to edit like 8 all at the same time, which normally wasn't that difficult. But it was just, I think I told you guys, I'm really bad about procrastinating a lot of times, and so I would just like wait, and then I'd be like, I have to go and do that, and I'm like, and they're like already uploaded, and I can just like, because I could do it before, but if I was doing multiple at the same time, I couldn't, like I could edit the thumbnail for the other ones, but I couldn't actually upload the thumbnails to the ones that weren't yet, I think, processing. You can only do it when they're processing, maybe, or when they're uploaded. I'm not sure. But maybe while they were only uploading. But if they weren't already started uploading, I don't think you could upload the picture yet, maybe, or something like that. I don't remember. All I remember is I normally have to do it after they were all done, if I was doing multiple at the same time. So now that I can't, like I said, it's a little bit more of a pain, just because I have to, you know, like I said, like wait and just do one at a time now. But the overall time is actually, I think, taking me less. I just have to pay attention to it a little bit more. But if I'm like sitting here like doing something, I can upload and then be like, okay, you know, like even if I'm sitting watching TV, I can upload and then be like, okay, you know, like just set this time aside to do that, instead of like, okay, I'm just gonna upload all of these and then leave. And then, you know, I've actually, like I said, been paying attention to it a little bit more in like my uploading. So anyways, that's the only thing that's been taking me a little bit more time, because I've had to focus a little bit more on doing that, instead of just like doing it and leaving and then being able to come back to it whenever, because I'll only get one done if I end up leaving it. But I don't know that doing one at a time is actually faster than doing, like I said, like time-wise, doing them all at the same time again, because I would procrastinate too. So sometimes I wind up leaving them to edit the thumbnail until like much later. But I, like I said, got that done today. And I was watching the Bulls game, guys, which I'm not even sure really why, because Bulls are like somehow still almost a playoff contender team, but like, I don't know how that's possible, because they like have hardly won any games like at all this season. And like my dad is just like, honestly, he's more of a fair weather fan in almost any sport. I feel like it's only if a team is doing good or has like good potential that my dad pays attention. Like, unless the team has good potential, a lot of times he'll just be like, oh, like I don't really care. Or unless they're like doing really well too. Like lately, the Blackhawks have been doing really good lately, and they're actually also look like they're really close to being a playoff contending team, and they've been really hot recently, like in winning a lot. They have 2 really good goaltenders, like, you know, just a lot of stuff that seems like is going right for them right now. And so, like, you know, they're kind of a little bit of the buzz right now, especially in Chicago, because that's kind of what we're looking forward to right now. But my dad is like super like, oh yeah, like, you know, the other night he was like, okay, we gotta make sure we watch the Hawks game tonight, because, you know, it's almost like playoffs, you know, like, I don't know, one of the games earlier was important important because I think the team we were playing was above us standings wise or something like that. And so my dad's like, it's like the playoffs, you know. I'm like getting all like hyped and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, I've been watching them all season. I watched through the bad, which, you know, is difficult to watch, but then I also watched through the good, which is, you know, like makes it that much more rewarding when they're doing good because you watch through all of the bad stuff. And my dad's just like, he still follows like what's going on, and he listens to sports radio all the stinking time. I listen to sports radio too all the time. Especially when we go grocery shopping. Like that's normally the time I pick up the most, because that's when me and my dad go to the grocery store and we put sports radio on in the morning, you know, and we'll wind up listening to something. And like I said, go to the grocery stores and we'll pick up on whatever kind of buzz is going on in Chicago. And normally I feel like on the weekends too, they tend to have a lot of like whatever big buzz was going on during the week. They kind of like capitalize on that, sort of. So anyways, yeah, normally it's like a lot of different stories, but I catch up a lot of times on a lot of the news. My dad does it every single day, because when he goes to work, he listens to that all day during the day. You know, not all day, but whenever he's driving, I think it normally winds up listening to that. Like on the way to and from work, which his drive is like normally, depending on where he is, can be an hour, sometimes more. My dad is much more of a fair weather fan and won't necessarily watch the team, but like, you know, like the other night something happened in the Bulls game and my dad was like, oh yeah, did you hear about that and such and blah blah blah, and I was like, yeah, I actually watched the game. I was like, you heard about it on the radio. Like, but I don't know, that's kind of the thing, like you just, like, I don't know, as a fan, I go into the game always like, I hope that they are going to do good, you know, even when a team is specifically tanking, which the Bulls are not necessarily specifically tanking yet. They're still actually contending for playoff spot, possibly. But you know, even like if a team is doing bad and you know it's going to be like a rebuild year or something like that, like I still always go into it hoping that they're going to do good. Like I want to see a good game, even if not, like, I don't know, I can watch a game and still pick out the good things that happen. Like, wow, that was a good dunk by that guy. Or, you know, in hockey, that was a good goal. Or in touchdown, you know, in football. In football, that was a good touchdown. You know, in baseball, like, oh, that person got a home run or whatever. You know, I can still pick out the goods and I can still remember that stuff. Even if they didn't win the game, like, I can still remember good things that happened in the game. Again, maybe it fades from my memory within some period of time, but it also might be something that I wind up actually remembering. And you know, like, it's weird too, because like the Bulls that I've been watching them have been in the playoffs, but I mean, like over the last 4 or 5 years that I've been super into sports more, where like I said, I watch probably 80 to 75% of most of the games, probably over the last 4 to 5 years or something like that, that I've, again, really been paying attention to sports more, and just watching games, I guess, more. And so, like, they've been in the playoffs and stuff like that, but, you know, haven't really been super competitive, even in the years that they did wind up going to the playoffs. Watching those, like, I watched through, like, Derrick Rose being on the team, to Jimmy Butler, like, you know, even at the same time, but, you know, just like, and kind of watching the progression of how like the team changed and stuff like that. And like, I feel like that's why it's kind of worth it to watch, because then you can be like, I remember seeing that guy when he played, you know, or when that person played for, you know, whatever team you're watching or whatever. But I don't know, like, I can always find some type of good to watch, or at least like a memory of remembering and seeing that person play, like when Dwayne Wade was on the team, you know, which was that not last year, I think 2 years ago or whatever it was, you know, but just like that kind of stuff, just being able to like, yeah, like, you know, I stuck through those seasons when they weren't good, and then it makes it that much more rewarding, I think, when teams are good. Pretty much ever since I followed the Blackhawks, because Blackhawks have been a Stanley Cup contender since they won the most recent Stanley Cup when I was in 7th grade, I think it was, or something like that. And they won it every other year then, up until these last few years, but now they're really good, you know, or at least this season they're getting really hot again. You know, so like that whole kind of thing. But, you know, the Cubs, literally too, the year, I think, before they won the World Series was the year that I really started to kind of follow more. And I think I watched more games, though, the year that they actually ended up winning the World Series than any other year, like, before that. But I didn't know they were going to win that year, and that's why it, like, made it that much more worth it. Like, I still watched the games when they were losing horribly. And, like, it was so weird, too, because there was one game. I remember this so vividly, guys. It was last spring, or maybe it was actually 2 springs ago, and it was just miserable out, and they were playing at home, and it was like super rainy. They were down like 10 plus runs or something like that. I think in the 8th or 9th inning, they stinking came back and won the game. Like, they scored like 13 runs or something like that in like 1 inning or 2 innings or something like that. It was crazy. But like, that's why, like, you don't give up on a team when they're like down. Like, that's why it makes it that much more worth it. Like, I feel like that game was just kind of like, you know, it can be for any season too. Like, it doesn't just have to be for one specific game. Like, that was crazy. But, you know, just one season too. Like, a team can turn around in like a season. Like, maybe they're not that good this year, but maybe next year they will be, and that's why it's going to make it that much more better when you see it and you see them win. So anyways, guys, I ended up watching the Bulls game today, which I ended up watching in my room by myself because my dad wanted to watch live PD and was switching between that and, I don't know, he was watching some other like Gold Rush show or something, and didn't. I think if I would have been in the living room, he probably would have ended up watching the Bulls game, but because I was uploading as well, I was just in here doing that. But my dad won't like go out of his way to put it on like right now because, like I said, they're not doing good. But the Hawks is like, yes, like we have to watch them, but they're off for a while, I think, because it was like 10 days or something like that because of the All-Star break, I think. I believe hockey and basketball is like at the same time or close to the same time or something like that because their seasons are, I believe hockey's longer. I think hockey's actually the longest played sport, like season-wise, like out of like basketball, baseball, hockey, and football. Because of when it starts and actually when it ends. Because I believe it ends in like the summer. Because I remember when they won one of the Stanley Cups, it was like most of the time the celebration was like in the middle of summer, like June or something like that. And I know it starts like not too like late, like in the fall or whatever, so you don't have that like that much time in between seasons and like off season and stuff like that. But actual like regular season, I think, if I'm not mistaken, hockey is like the longest, like it has the shortest break for like off season stuff or whatever. But yeah, anyways, guys, so yeah, I sat in here and I ended up uploading and watched the Bulls game. And then I ended up going into the living room and then they had live PD was ending. And so I was like, oh, okay, like I got to see like the very end. And then my dad was like, this episode was crazy tonight. And so I started watching it again from the beginning. And now I ended up staying up almost until the second time it re-aired, which is almost past 1 o'clock now. So yeah, I ended up not watching the complete end because, like I said, I saw the end of it earlier when it was actually live. So anyways, guys, yeah, I'm up later. And the thing is, guys, I got up early this morning. I was up at like 9 o'clock or something like that. Now I'm going to bed late, and it's weird because I'm not actually that tired, but I need to get to bed. So I'll see you guys all in tomorrow's vlog. If you guys did enjoy today's, make sure you guys give a big old thumbs up. If you guys are new, we'd love if you'd subscribe, and I'll see all of your sunshiny faces tomorrow. So bye, guys.